to Go Play Esports Podcast with Christopher Turner, Go Play founder and CEO, esports coach at the Southern University Lab, and gamer. Discussions on the emergence of esports at the K-12, collegiate, and professional level. Let's go! Let's go play!
Hi, this is your host, Christopher Turner, and you know what time it is. It's another Go Play Esports podcast. Man, I've been really enjoying creating new content. I think I've stated that before. You know, this industry is definitely growing. It's getting second, third, and fourth looks due to the COVID-19 pandemic that we're in right now. And like DJ Khaled said, all we do is win, 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 no matter what. I feel like that about esports. I feel that it's going to continue to grow, continue to get big. And I have to point out the fact that everybody's been using their gaming platforms, esports partners, and such to raise money for COVID. And I think that's a great thought. I think it's a great way to use gaming because in some shape or form, I feel the same way about gaming that I feel about food. It's a lot of people that game, and it's an outlet for a lot of people to kind of escape the reality of what we're going through right now. And, you know, with food, it brings everybody together, and I feel like that strongly about gaming right now. It's bringing everybody together. And, you know, for the most part, you know, it's just exciting times for us. And my heart goes out to everybody that lost someone during this trying time. And with that said, we're going to go ahead and go to the art of things. Let's get it done. So, Global Esports Federation details Athletes and Players Commission. The Global Esports Federation has detailed the initial completion to Athletics and Players Commission. The commission has been created to focus on education, fair play, and the development of career paths for esports players. So, let's see. I don't know exactly, you know, where this commission is going to head. It sounds great. It feels great. Some of the people that are involved are like big names. And let's see here. Paul J. Foster as COO names 8 commissions. And I'm not going to go through all the commissions, but I actually like this format. I like who's involved. Big shout out to the Global Esports Federation. And we're going to see what happens with this. So let's just drop this bomb for the Global Esports Federation and creating this initiative and commission of athletics and players. And that's the news for the day, people. So let's get on. You know, we like the art of business around here at Go Play Esports. And you know what time it is. We always have a special guest. We always have a special interview. Before I do the introduction for this person, everybody knows that I have a high school esports team at the high school that I teach at, which is my passion job. I'm saying that with passion. I really love reaching out to the youth. And for me, as a visual artist and graphic designer first, and I've been one for years, probably 20 plus years at this time, I've looked at this guy's company for inspiration, design, clean, polished looks, even down to like the apparel as far as the streetwear and the esports jerseys. It's always a go-to reference for me. I truly believe when it goes down to conceptual design, you can only remix something. Nobody's creating anything new at this time. It's, you know, fashion repeats itself. Marketing repeats itself. Color patterns and you know, the way that we do things, they don't change. They only repeat, and somebody comes up with a new twist or something, but the bare bones are still there. So with that said, this guy's company and, his incredible staff, because I know it's not just him, has been a total inspiration for me as far as marketing, apparel, sales, stuff of that nature, as far as esports is concerned. So today's guest is the CEO and co-founder of We Are Nations Group, a leader in esports merchandise design, sales, and distribution worldwide. We Are Nations has clients include G2 Esports, Optic Gaming, Method Gaming, OG, Faceit, ECS, Blast Series, and many more. He's leading the global esports brands as we know it. Without any further ado, I'd like to welcome Patrick Mahone, the CEO and co-founder of We Are Nations. Welcome to the show, Patrick.
Christopher, that's like the best introduction I've ever got. That was amazing. Thank you.
That's awesome, man. I get that a lot, man. So I think I might have another career.
I know. And both because you really went pretty deep, and also because you touched on some things that I look forward to talking about. I think I can already tell we're aligned on a bunch of stuff, so I look forward to jumping into this with you now.
That's awesome, man. Chill bumps, man. I've been really looking forward to doing this interview with you.
Oh, thanks.
Let's kind of get into.
By the way, or is this
I used to do live, and I've been doing pre-records, but it should be out next week. So yeah.
All right. Cool.
So let's talk about, as far as like background is concerned. I wanna kind of dig into like how did you get to this point?
Yeah, man. I mean, I come from music merchandising. Been doing it my entire career, which now is coming on 30 years. And the reason I got into music merchandising is because I was in a band that ultimately got dropped by our record label, and I needed to get a job. So it's been very organic. I started in the early 90s. After the band, the band I was in was it's called Alloy. We had our couple years we were making records and touring around, but that sort of ended, and I needed to start working. Literally, all those things that you hear about, all those stereotypes are true. Like, my girlfriend literally kicked me out of her apartment. I had no place to live. I had no money, so I got a job at a screen printing place in Boston, and just started talking to the owners about, I know these bands that might need some T-shirts. Can I call them and maybe you can kick me back a commission or something? So what I started doing, and sort of built that from there, and really just never left. Just always did it. Of course, the company's got more sophisticated, and we turned it into like a sort of the business that you see today. If you go to a concert or into a Hot Topic or Spencer Gifts or something at the mall or online, but that's where it started. And about it'll be 5 years this summer. My partner Chris Cornell and I were at a bit of a crossroads. We still have a great music merchandising business, but we wanted to do something else. And someone suggested we go check out an esports tournament, and we did, and it was just like right out of it was a major aha moment for me. I mean, we walked into this arena. It was like 15,000 kids. It was a CS:GO tournament. It was ESL Cologne. Mm-hmm. We walk in, and we had concerts in that arena before, so I was familiar with the venue, and walked in, and it's, like I said, 15,000 kids, and the production. This was the finals day, on the Sunday, and the production was incredible, and CS:GO. I know a bit more about gaming now, but at the time I was a bit of a gaming amateur, but still CS:GO has a gameplay where you can kind of understand it right away, 5-on-5, last man standing type stuff. So you got pulled in really quick, and I'm like, oh, this is cool, man. It's paced well, and I can understand what's going on, and it's very clear that it's a competitive match, and right. The aha moment was like, and by the way, some of these kids are the same kids that are coming to our concerts, whether it's Fall Out Boy or Panic at the Disco or whatever, and we're like, man, okay, there's something here, So we started dabbling with some esports teams through our music company, which is called Manhead. And the second aha moment, which is I think the one you're going to appreciate, is we went to a Call of Duty event in Las Vegas a couple months, probably that fall, so 5 or 6 months later, and it was it was like the full amateur bracket, right? Full open tournament, and walking around on Thursday, there's like 100 teams, right? And of course, 92 of them are going to get knocked out, and the finals is going to be the 8 usual, maybe 7 usual suspects plus that one wild card, So but just walking around watching those 92 teams compete, these amateur teams compete, that was a bigger aha moment for me, because I'm like, man, this is what I used to do when I was in bands,
Right.
It's like put my own team together. We put our own band together. They're practicing. They're getting their practice schedule together. They're doing whatever they have to do to get themselves out to Vegas to compete. They're and they're living it, man. They're just like living their dream. And it was like, and it was completely DIY. And I'm like, okay, this is totally relatable. Because this is where we came from.
Right.
And it was, it was a different time. It was a different time, but this is where we came from, and that was it. I mean, I think we started Nations officially as a company shortly thereafter, and it was built on the premise that a couple, checked a couple boxes for us. It was something that we knew how to do, merchandising, and certainly the front end of it is a little bit different than music. But at the end of the day, you're producing product and selling it across multiple platforms around the world. So we understood the business. That was sort of checked one box, and the second box was it had this DIY spirit and this sort of the spirit that we understood and came from, because coming from music, you sort of end up passing through surf, skate, and snow, and all those sorts of sports. And right away I saw that the parallel between skateboarding and esports is such that if you're a skateboarder, you're also watching professionals, or if you're a surfer, you're also watching all these surf contests. There's a different engagement than I think your average sort of basketball or football fan, because you're playing it as well as watching it. That was a big part of esports. In fact, I think that was the vast majority of the esports crowd, even 5 years ago or 4 years ago. And then the third piece was, and this is the most important piece, is it was disruptive as hell, man. It was like
it is.
It was like and we love that. We love that,
yeah.
And it's sort of starting to prove itself out even now, like as these sort of mainstream, or I don't want to use the word mainstream, but traditional companies want to come into the space, and we talk to them. A lot of them say it's like we're literally watching our traditional sports business start to decline as esports expands. And so we help us get in. We want to be in. We want to be a distribution partner. We want to be a product partner. 47 brand is a good example of that. Where we were able to do something with a brand that I love. I grew up in Boston, by the way, so I've known those guys forever. They've always had their place at Fenway Park.
Right.
It was a thrill to get that call from them. And to be able to do in the spring split last year when Liquid won the LCS spring split, to have them on broadcast hoist that champion hat and wear that champion T-shirt. It was like it was like a Super Bowl moment. It was like a NBA Finals moment. It was a and it was like, okay, so we've sort of bridged a traditional celebration piece with esports. I'm really proud of that. It's actually one of my favorite moments in my career, to be honest. And we had that stuff on sale that night, right away actually online, and we just took from that playbook, which goes to one of the points you made in the introduction, which I think is great, is like, I don't remember exactly how you said it, but something to the effect of we're not doing things. We keep doing things over and over again. Things come and go, like the circle, the pattern sort of just continues on. We say the same thing. That's why we're aligned. It's like to me, it's like the way I say it is, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You might need a different tire with a different tread, right? But you don't need to invent the wheel. And I thought that was when you said that was really great. So sorry if I got a little